guys, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Johanna, and for those of you who are new here, welcome, and for those of you who are returning, welcome back. Here on my channel I do planner and planner related videos, DIY tutorials, budget videos, and the occasional new release video of items that I've listed to my Etsy shop. And if that is of interest to you, please consider subscribing to my channel, and if you hit that little notification bell, you'll always be notified of when I load a new video. Commenting, liking, and sharing this video on your favorite platform does help my channel grow and is truly appreciated. Alright guys, so we are in lesson 12 of our hand lettering from a beginner for beginner series. As I've mentioned, if you have any sort of fundamental experience or knowledge on lettering and you're looking for something definitely more either intermediate or advanced, this is not the series for you. This is really geared towards people like myself who are new to the lettering experience and are just trying to learn this process together. I wanted to, before we actually start working on stuff, I wanted to go over the two books that I have, and this is really what had started it all. And I want you to notice, if you are working on your own lettering and you are doing words and whatnot, that even within the lettering community, there are differences. So this one, if you look at the X height, the base, and the ascending height here, you notice that the way that we've been learning, everything sort of falls within these lines. Now this isn't truly bouncy, but this also isn't truly just modern calligraphy, or at least the way that we've been doing it. But you can see that there are some variations to letters. Some go all the way up, some don't go all the way down, some don't all go up. So I mean, if you are seeing that you're not getting your letters in a consistent height or a consistent size, you might just be developing your own style and not even realizing it. Also, what I want you to notice is, even though there is variances between the ascending height, the descender, the base, and the whatnot, the spaces in between are relatively the same regardless of the width of the letter, and so that does make it really pleasing to the eye. Now that's this book, which is Lettering and Modern Calligraphy. And then the second book that I have in here seems to be a little thinner and a little more flowier. So you can see here, and I don't know if it's because it's big or whatnot, but the other one seemed really chunky, and I think they're both pretty, but just notice that this one is definitely much more bouncy, and the thins and the thicks are there, but it's a little bit less pronounced than the book we just looked into. So again, as you are practicing your lettering, just be aware that you can be developing your style on how you are connecting your letters, how thick you're making it, if you're making everything even like we have been doing, or if you are, you know, doing it a little bit more bouncy where the baseline and the X height and the ascending height are more of a guideline but not the rule. So I did want to point this out to you. Alrighty, so we're going to go into the lesson. Now, as we have been doing, I do want you to write the date at the top. And we'll use the back of this because I don't want to waste my paper. And I'll take this out. We'll be adding some more words here. And we'll take these just for good measure. All right, so today is the 2nd of November. Now last week I think I forgot to write in the big E. So if someone could remind me about that when the lesson is nearly over, that would be amazing. So we've got our big E there. And just like before, I want you to put the alphabet. And when I'm done, I'll bring it back. Alrighty, now we've got our date. We've got our big E, we've got our alphabet. Now, what we were doing before is we were doing drills, and I want you to do that, but I don't want you to do a full line of each. So what I want you to do, and I've got an assortment of pens. We've got the Kuretake in various blues. We've got the Mildliner brush in blue. We've got a couple of the Pentel Touches in various blues. And then this is the pen that I picked up from Daiso, and this is in Prussian blue. And one side of it is a brush pen. So we're just doing a blue theme today. But what I was saying is I want you to do 2 rows, but what I want you to do is I want you to do a downstroke and an upstroke and an overturn and an underturn, a compound, a reverse compound, an ascender, a descender, an oval, and a reverse oval. And I want you to continue that until you run out of space. And I want you to do that 2 times. When you're done with that, go ahead and bring me back and we'll get started with the lesson. All right, guys, so now you have your 2 rows. Now, of course, you can do more, but the reason why I wanted to do it this way is because when you do rows and rows of, the upstroke, the downstroke, and the whatnot, it's easy to become accustomed to just that shape. But now that we're going to be working on connections, meaning we're going to be working on making words, you need to also make yourself become familiar and comfortable with switching from one shape to the next. Now, like we did in our weird letters where the R's and the S's and the Z's actually are not comprised of these, that's also a little bit of a wild card. But again, I think from here on out, what we should be doing together is you're going to definitely do your practice drills where you're doing 1 row of each thing, but I think right before the lessons, what I'm going to be doing is this here where we're just going to mix it up, okay? So we're going to be working on a couple of words, and I think to make it easier on both you and me, the word that I want to work on, I'm actually going to write out with just a regular pen because, as I've mentioned, trying to remember your ups and your downs with the fix and making connections and having your pen the right way and anticipating the next letter and the next letter after that, but also anticipating how they're connecting, I think that can be really stressful. Obviously, you've seen it be stressful for me. So I think if we have the word where we can see it, I mean, we're still going to be a little bit stressed, but at least we can see and visualize what it is that's coming up next. So we're going to start with the word hello, just because that's the first word I thought. And we've been doing it with a small h. Again, capital letters is actually going to be the lesson for next week. I just do them the way I would do regular letters. And I've been noticing I'm not always a big fan of doing like a lead in for the first small letter, so I'm not going to do that for this one. And I haven't worked with this in a while, so there actually should be a gap in the middle there, but that's okay. We're just going to press on. And again, you want to lead into your next letter. And you want to give yourself enough space for the next letter. And let me just finish this out and then I'll show you what I mean. So if you can see here, I don't know that there is any formula, at least none of the videos and things that I've seen show it, but if this is our X height, if that is the center line for our letters, I don't know that this definitely or has to have some sort of height requirement. But I think in order for your letters to look finished, you'd want them to be all the same height. So whatever the height is that you're doing, then you want them to be the same height. And then for the actual mountain part there, you want those to be consistent. Now this one isn't. Again, however high you make them, however wide you make them, as long as you make them consistent, it will probably look better than if they are not consistent. Again, I think I could have extended the L out so that when I'm doing my L and then going up, I can either come really close and make that like a really close U shape, or I can make it come out far, and then that gives the next letter enough room to be its own thing, because I don't know that the size between the letters is the same. And as I was showing you in the examples in the actual books, even though the height may vary, the width between each of the letters was the same. So I think that's something that we definitely also need to add to the list of things to strive for. I know, guys, it just gets more and more things we have to think about. And so the next word I'm going to do is thanks. And I'm just going to do this all in small letters. So we come down and then we come up. We need to anticipate what the next letter is so that we know how to connect them. And now we want to finish our ovals and come down and come up right into a reverse compound because that was thick, and down again, and we're not going to have enough room, so come down like that. And like I said, you can either do your K's like those weird R's, or you can just do it like a K. Now we are not doing anything fancy with the first letter either when it's small or when it's big. Now eventually we're going to be able to do like z's there and things and the whatnots, but that's not where we are yet. We're just trying to figure out how to get these things together. So if I do a line across, then this here should have come up higher. This here should have come up higher. And there definitely is not the same size of mountain. And again, I don't know what these things are called, but you can see that there is not consistency. There's a little bit of consistency with the height where they connect to the next letter, but there isn't a lot of consistency there. We are beginners, guys, so don't worry about consistency, but when you're looking at your letters, those are the things I want you to look for. You want to make sure that your ovals, that you can actually write an oval. With your ascenders, you want this to be a teardrop. And you want that to be consistent, because again, depending on where the level is you're trying to get to, if you're trying to get to the people you see on Instagram and Facebook and YouTube, then you're going to notice that their ovals are truly ovals. And in here, the ascenders, you can see that teardrop shape. You can see that their connections are level if they're doing a straight line like us. If you are doing the more bouncy, and it may make it easier because of that, then let's see if we can do that. that actually doesn't look too bad. Again, I need to work on my connections, but you can see that that whole top of your connections in the mountains does not, at least from what I can see, they do not play a part in this. And that might be a reason why you see more of this style than this style, because this really goes to calligraphy, the original calligraphy where it wasn't brushed. That's what that looks like more to me. This definitely looks more of like that modern calligraphy. But I think for us to understand the fundamentals, we practice this, and then if we want to go all crazy cuckoo nuts like this, then we certainly can, but at least we know how to form our letters. Now even this, I think it looks good. I think I need to work on my connections, but even thinking about, okay, well, I don't have the structure of the E, so now my thicks and my thins aren't as crisp as I like it, because now I'm just trying to figure out, well, how high do I want to go? How low do I want to go? How wide do I want to go? Versus remembering my fundamentals of thin up and thick down. Again, as we are going more advanced, for us, we're beginners, guys, so you know we can still get frustrated. I think it's just something to think about. So we'll do one more word together, and let's do it with one of the pentels. What do we want to do? Let's do weekend. That might be a train wreck, but let's just do it anyway. So we're going to do we're going to do it big. We're going to do big because why not? So thick down, thin up, thick down, thin up. And we're not going to do any sort of lead in. And this one I do want to make sure that I have my little teardrop. And so I'm going to be coming thin up, thick down, but I need to connect. And thin up, thick down. I need to connect, so we're going into a K, down, and we'll do it in that weird R thing, thick and thick, coming up, thin, and thick down, so weak. We'll do an overturn, another overturn, and we're going to, wait, how do we do this? Coming down into a D, so we would do our oval, finishing that up, and then we'll come off to the side here. Press down and come up. So let's do the line from this way, and let's see where we fall. So the mountains are pretty wide. This one's a little close, but the height is okay. There definitely is not a consistency with the teardrops. Now there is some teardrops there, but they are not of the same height. Again, guys, it's just something we're going to be just to think about, because again, depending on where you're taking this in your own lifestyle, whether you're just wanting to work in your planner like I do, or whether you want to make this a part of something that you might be doing professionally, I don't know. But again, you definitely want to think about what the shapes are when you are doing your different letters, your connections, the height, the tall height. I mean, because weekend, if I just do cursive, is really easy. When you start thinking about how it's broken down, that's what makes it difficult. So we're actually going to end the lesson, because for the connections, it's more about practicing words. And so you're going to practice whatever words you want to. We're actually not going to work on here, because I thought we'd do some words here, but no, I think we will wait till the lesson where we're going to learn how to do capital letters, because I'm assuming they're just the same as the regular letters, but I don't know, so I'll definitely have to do some research. But up here, what I want you to do, and this probably will take quite some time, is I want you to get a variety of pens. Doesn't matter what color. There might be some bleeding, but we'll be okay. Now, if you have a variety of different pens like I do, and you have a variety of different colors of those pens, like they're all blue, then I would definitely recommend that. And the reason why I'm saying that is because I want you to do your word hello, but every time there is a new stroke, I want you to switch out your pen. So let's see how difficult this is going to be on top of trying to remember everything else. So we do the H, that's one, and we come up and we do our compound, sort of, and then we're going to go right into the E, which is thin and thick, and then come up, and then we're going to do our ascender with our L with a little bit of a lead in, and we'll do it again. A little bit of a lead in, and then we will finish up with our O, and then a little bit of a boop right there. Okay, so I don't know how well you can see this. Let me outline this one. Which makes it also look very pretty. But there's two reasons why I wanted you to do this. One, it's a pretty cool way to really isolate your strokes, but also it forces you to slow down. And I think more than anything else that we've learned together is this is not a race, and you really, really need to concentrate on your strokes, because when you do, you get your teardrop shapes, you get your oval shapes. It is easier to concentrate on the thins and the thicks. The mountains are actually a good size, if not all the same size, but there is a good definition between the two. Because really what you want, at least from what I've seen when you're doing it, when it's fairly consistent spacing like this, is a really defined mountain. And so the more defined your mountain is, the more consistency you have between each letter, the more professional it looks. Again, I'm not striving for professional. I don't want my planner to look ugly. So yeah. But go ahead and do that if you want to, and if you have room, do it a couple of times. And you may actually want to practice your letters that way, where you are changing your pens. And even if you have only 2 pens, and let's do these 2, and you just switch it out every time you do a new stroke, it really, really, really forces you to slow down. Plus, not gonna lie, it actually looks kind of cool too. So, and we come up like that. Oh no, that goes right into the reverse. And then we come into that and down. Down. And now that actually would be one smooth, right? Yeah. Now this one, it doesn't help because the tip is rather thin, but this connection specifically is quite narrow, so my mountain is thin like that rather than like that. And that's okay as long as all of them are like that, but when you have the differences, you really can tell from transition to transition. I liked how that looked before I messed it up. I also liked how that looks with just the different colors. So yeah, I'm hoping this lesson is worthwhile to you guys as we are progressing more into advanced things, at least for us beginners. I'm a little less confident about how helpful this is, but I know it does help me just think about the letters, think about the strokes, think about the connections. So I'm hoping that it helps you guys as well. All right, guys, that's it for me for now. I will see you next week where we're going to be talking about capital letters. And I think this is going to be a 15 lesson series. So this was lesson number 12. That means we've got 3 more lessons to go. And then from there, I might just pop on occasionally, but I think we'll get to a good baseline where we can always go over the old videos and just practice that way. Because again, I'm still a beginner, so there's just only so much I can learn with you guys. All right, guys, that's it for me for now. And as always, aloha.